Good Zampo, you're watching Bhutan This Week with me, Kulaote Guragai. Our top stories. Doji Lewe appoints 10 new LUMs. Bhutan Kinyam Party deregisters as a political party. Zonka Inserts in English newspapers not helping promote Zonka, says the Prime Minister. The Doji Lewe of the Jung Dasa has appointed LUMs Principal Ditok Drungchen and Jali Lewe of Jung Dasa. The appointees were conferred at the Punakha Dzong recently.
39-year-old Jimmy from Danshu in Wantipodra is the new Lampe. Lampe literally means the coordinator of the Jung Suethap. Prior to his present post, he served in the Jung Pudre. He joined Mangkut at the age of 11 and completed the 3-year retreat from Chijigyamba in Thimphu. 45-year-old Pup Doji from Nishoka in Wantipodra is the new Lam of Chimilaga in Punakha. He served as a personal secretary in Jung Trasa prior to his present post. He began monastic education from the Dichenpodra Monastic School and graduated from Tango Shedra in Thimphu. He completed the 3-year retreat at Cherry Drupde. 44-year-old Rigden from Samar in Ha is the new Lam of the Dichempul Haga in Thimphu. Prior to his present post, he served as a chairperson of the Jung Trasa store. He joined the monastic body at the age of 11 and graduated from the Nalandra Shedra in Punakha. 42-year-old Lam Kilewanti from Naja in Paro is the new Lam of Tsindugyamba in Naja. He served as the secretary of the survey office in Jung Trasa. He joined the monk body at the age of 11 and graduated from the College of Astrology at Panisampa in Thimphu. 42-year-old Pema Gelson is the new secretary or the Ditso Trungchen of the central monastic body. Prior to his present post, he worked in the management of the Institute of Science of Mind at Semtoka in Thimphu. He graduated from Tango Shedra in Thimphu. 42-year-old Tenzi Wanchu from Dogar in Paro is the new principal of the Institute of Science of Mind at Semtoka in Thimphu. He was a lecturer at the institute earlier. He joined Mangkut at the age of 11 and graduated from the Tango Shedra in Thimphu. 40-year-old Dawa Gasen from Atang in Wantipodra is the new Lam of Sampiling Laga at Giling in Chukha. He began his monastic education at 15 from Dishenpodra Monastic School and graduated from the Tango Shedra in Thimphu. He also completed his 3-year retreat from the Cherry Drupde in Thimphu. 32-year-old Kingatsring from Guma in Punakha is the Nachu Kembo of the Bhutan Institute of Wellbeing under the YDF at Chimitanka of Mewanggeok in Thimphu. He worked as a teacher at the Dichencholing Higher Secondary School in Thimphu prior to his present post. He started his monastic education at the Dichenpodra Monastic School at the age of 13 and graduated from Tango Shedra. He completed the 3-year retreat from Tango Drupkang. 45-year-old Chilne from Nisho in Wantipodra is the new Kanjup of Gyumbil Haga at Trashishuzong in Thimphu. He joined Mangkut at the age of 8 and studied at Siula Shedra in Punakha. He completed his 3-year retreat at Cherry Drupde. He was undergoing retreat at Tokchong above Cherry Drupde in Thimphu prior to the current appointment. And 37-year-old Shacha from Talo in Punakha is the Jali Lebe of the Jung Trasa. He was serving in the Jung Budre prior to his present post. He joined the monk body at the age of 13 and studied at Lekshe Jungne Shedra in Punakha. He also completed his 3-year retreat from the Cherry Drupde in Thimphu. For Chiangadoji in Punakha, Yishe Gelson, BBS News.
The preliminary detailed project report of the Multidisciplinary Super Speciality Hospital or MSS Hospital has been submitted to the Foreign Ministry, who will take it to the Indian government. The Health Minister said this during the meet session held recently. The proposed budget for the project is 5.6 billion Nitam. The Health Minister added that the Green Hospital or Sustainable Eco-Design will be implemented in the MSS Hospital. The MSS Hospital is one of the pledges of the government and is expected to provide a host of medical services, some of which are currently not available in the country.
We are really gearing towards making green hospital la, and sustainable design concept la, bringing in solar panels, generating on-site electricity, making it sustainable. We have started a small initiation with both Mungar and JDW right now. COVID gi time na lunga chara khara gi khenla oxygen gi kangil diga demchi thoinga te chikhale bagongoni digi ngache oxygen katemchi ngache nam sami stock up bego thesila Tane benedigi the lesson we have learned is that the ngachara sustainable go base. So ngache tari ani gelyong na menkada pa lungchogi menkanalu ngachegi oxygen plant gutudola.
The country's foreign reserves are in a comfortable position as of now, according to the finance minister. Although he did not specify the amount, Limpo Namgetsering said that the country has enough foreign reserves to meet basic essential imports for at least 14 months. He added that the country should, however, not be complacent as revenue generation is limited. The finance minister said the government is currently exploring options to build the country's reserves. The constitution mandates the need to have a minimum foreign currency reserve to meet at least a year's essential imports.
Historically, even 10 years ago, our reserve positions were not comfortable, to be honest. But because of the tightening financial conditions globally, because of the global, the staggering inflation, because of USD appreciating against Neutrum and INR, critical to me. Whatever we used to spend, we are now spending more as compared to previous years. So ani bodulu tatugi neseka bedi besachiru. The ngacharagi tatu reserve kadem chiyuti beru. Ngachagi 20 months, 25 months dazumi reserve yuti bedi besachiru. At this point in time, ngachi as the government of the day, our job is to basically look into how can we maintain the reserve in the short term, how can you maintain reserve in the medium term and long term.
The Bhutan Kinyam Party has deregistered as a political party with the Election Commission of Bhutan. According to a notification from the Commission, the party submitted an application last week expressing their desire to deregister. This now brings the total number of registered political parties in the country to 5.
The ECB today notified the public that BKP stood deregistered as a political party and that its name has been removed from the register of political parties. BBS contacted the party founder Sonam Topke, but he did not want to comment. BKP was registered as a political party in 2013. They became the third political party to be registered in the country after People's Democratic Party and Drupin Samsopa. After losing the primary round of the 2018 parliamentary election, BKP said it will not only contest the 2023 elections but also win it. The party said this despite being ineligible for state funding to prepare and contest the upcoming elections. A political party needs to secure 10% of the total votes to be eligible for state funding. However, BKP managed to secure only 9.78% of the total votes during the last parliamentary elections. Kiladem for BBS News.
How can public service providers and even businesses ensure that their services are not interrupted during times of disasters? This can be achieved by having a business continuity plan. And this is exactly what the Bhutan Telecom company is trying to make government and private agencies aware of. The telecom company developed a business continuity plan of their own in 2021 with help from Japan International Cooperation Agency or JICA.
During the 3-day workshop, the participants from the Bhutan Power Corporation, Tashisel, the Government Technology Agency, the Department of Disaster Management, the Ministry of Infrastructure and Transport, the Road Safety and Transport Authority, and other relevant stakeholders took part. According to the Bhutan Telecom's CEO, as a service provider through the Business Continuity Plan, they ensure their services are available and reliable at all times.
It is not really being 100% sure that you can avoid disasters, but it is like how best can you face the disasters? How quickly can you bring the services back to operations? How quickly can you make the recovery sale? So that is how the BCP will ensure that our services, even though affected during disasters, we make sure that we bring those services up and running at the quickest time possible.
He added business continuity plan is not only meant for telecom agencies, but it is meant for all public and private agencies and organizations.
It is not only for telecommunications. I think all agencies, whether are telco, non-telco, all other service providers, even like for BPC or even for BBS, I think you would need to have something in place to ensure that you can carry out your services with minimum disruptions in terms of disasters. Because I think BBS would also play a very important role in disasters, while BT would try to look at improving or recovering our services as soon as possible. PBS also would also need to ensure that you bring your services back to normal.
As a part of the 3-year project from 2018 to 2021, assisted by the JICA, Bhutan Telecom in 2019 launched a disaster-resilient emergency mobile network in Bumthang. This is a replica of exactly the same equipment in Thimphu that provides Bhutan Telecom's mobile network throughout the country. Having it means the country will not face a telecommunication blackout in case a major disaster damages the core mobile network systems in Thimphu. The business continuity plan is developed along with the emergency mobile network in Bumthang through the project.
Having BCP implemented in BT is just to ensure that all these critical services are restored as quickly as possible, ensuring safety of the employees as the highest priority in Bhutan Telecom. Now, this is the very reason why BT wanted to have this workshop conducted, especially for other organizations, because we can share our experiences and also create awareness on the importance of BCP in their own organization.
The initiative was welcomed by the participants.
Business continuity plan is an integral part of our logistics preparedness. So for me, this workshop has been really useful. I've learned a lot, and we are yet to implement our business continuity plan. We do have a plan in place. But now from this workshop, I came to know how to implement it. So I'll take it back to my ministry, and hopefully we'll be able to implement our plan as well.
BT should be a champion to not only to implement the BCP within the organization, but also to create awareness of the importance of BCP for other organizations, for both the government as well as private organizations across the country. So to implement that awareness, JICA Bhutan office and BTV conducted this workshop.
Such workshop and programs usually remind us to take safety measures in times of any disaster, and with the normal routine works, it's very important that we also should remind back that safety measures are always important.
The workshop was conducted to create awareness and assist service providers to develop and maintain effective business continuity plans. This is to allow the service providers to be prepared in times of disaster and emergencies which could affect their services. The workshop, which started on Monday, ended today with a mock evacuation drill. For Kamawangde, Tashiangden, BBS News.
Over time, technology has been changing the way of life in Bhutan. The government has been embracing ICT as a means to improve public services, including the education and healthcare systems. However, making a living as a software developer is a relatively new concept in Bhutan. And amidst this transition to a digital era, software developers in the country find themselves often undervalued and underappreciated, especially the ones working as freelancers.
Pawan Kumar Korala, a 23-year-old college student and a freelance software developer, has been developing apps for more than 3 years now. Some of his works include Droogings.com, an online shopping and services app, and Shirik Yuntan, an app that offers free online coaching for PE and RCSA exams. Pawan, who is currently an intern at the IT Park in Thimphu, is also a technopreneur, which means he has started and manages his own technology business. However, he says making a living as a software developer is challenging in a country that is still in its juvenile stages of digital and technological development.
In Bhutan, programmers are undervalued. That's a known story, and it's been like this for a while now. People won't pay you much. They expect you to do, build stuff for free sometimes and for a very minimum amount, and that's not worth it. I mean, we do put lots of effort to it, and we do try to build the best of what we can.
According to an article by Business of Apps, an international app reviewing website, app developers on the international level make between 120,000 yutam and 3.5 million yutam a month. As a result, Pawan says most developers in the country take up work that is outsourced from companies or clients overseas.
Here we can expect at max 20,000 sometimes, and people won't even give that properly. They will, negotiate on that as well. Right now, people are going for the project that's being outsourced. Basically, programming fees, like the amount they need to pay outside is very high, so they tend to outsource those projects here, and we take up those projects. And despite not having being paid as much as they get, but then it will be relatively more than what we get here.
Many other software developers PBS talked to shared similar opinions. One common view they had was how little domestic clients understand programming. This, they say, is one of the main reasons why software developers are undervalued in Bhutan.
When we deal with clients, one issue we face is that the clients here don't have much knowledge about the ground reality and how coding is done. They think that developing apps is easy. That's a challenge for us developers.
There aren't many developers with experience in Bhutan, and the ones who do have the knowledge and the experience are not paid enough because the clients here do not understand the effort that goes into developing something.
While the present scenario isn't where these developers would like it to be, they said they find hope in knowing that children are taking up programming at a young age. They said they believe that this new generation will make people understand what they do and hopefully make people appreciate their works more. Karmasamtan Wangda, PBS News.
Private newspaper need not have to insert Zonka Insert. The requirement to include Zonka Inserts by English newspapers has been done away with. According to the Prime Minister, this decision has been made since the criterion was not fulfilling its purpose of promoting Zonka. The Bhutan Infocom and Media Authority issued a notification re-signing the Zonka Insert requirement in December of last year.
Bigma's notification dated 23rd December 2022 states that Bhutan Today, Bhutan Times, Business Bhutan, The Bhutanese and the journalists do not have to put Zonka inserts in their publications. The notice states that the decision was taken in accordance with the directives from the MOIC minister. According to the Prime Minister, although the requirement was first put in place to promote and develop the national language, it was not doing so.
Other than additional cost, it doesn't help meet any purpose at Tebesumime. The Tsugomigi reason the Bewachin, Zonka, Yargetani, the Tarshaptani Gitulu, Semichlabno. But Zonka paper chinalu nesu Tichitsubagidi, Yarge Majoe, Tarshabe Tamitsube. So Ani Benidigi, the Namisimichi Kepen Kane Minu, Doso Choose Ime.
Luncheon added that this is, however, not mandatory and that the papers can continue inserting Zonka pieces if they want to do so. Meanwhile, some of the private papers BVS talked to said the old requirement was actually hindering Zonka promotion.
The private papers are mostly carrying namthars and non-news kind of Zonka pieces of not very good quality. So it was in fact hampering Zonka, and the media as a whole, and especially the private papers, were requesting the last two governments to do away with this clause where English papers have to carry Zonka inserts, because it was neither helping Zonka nor the English newspapers.
Dia namthar da delega to be nesulbe member wala te ani bodalo di da digi zonka de ngachi zonka de mep tam ma to dilu zonka lo pento mindu se.
Being a private media house, I think the biggest issue here is sustainability, and we have to make extra payment for the Zonka reporter. And with that, what happens most of the time, the Zonka reporter, they translate the story from the English to Zonka, meanwhile losing the essence and the message of the news story.
Meanwhile, the Bhutan Today paper says they will continue to have Zonka inserts since the paper has a Zonka reporter. Currently, there are 6 private print media houses in the country, including one Zonka paper. For Kamawandi, this is Kipchu for BVS News.
More than 300 stray dogs in Thimphu have been lifted to the Nakula Dog Shelter. This is a part of the nationwide accelerated dog population management and rabies control program. The Agriculture and Livestock Ministry, with the help of DSUPs and volunteers, is carrying out the exercise.
These 4 groups of catching teams start lifting stray dogs at 8 a.m. and end the exercise by 6 in the evening. The teams use 3 methods to catch the dogs, such as hand catching, net catching, and darting. The team uses darting method only if they run out of means to catch the dogs. With this method, the catching team shoot tranquilizers on aggressive dogs to make the catching process easier. The team work in 5 groups to catch, transfer, microchip, and sterilize the dogs.
When they arrive at Nakula shelter, we have another team, receiving team, and receiving team will unload the dogs. And we have another team, and those team, one team is a registration team. They will microchip the dog. That means digital identification of dogs, and they will register the dog. And we have one clinic team, and clinic team will sterilize the dog or treat the dog if the dog is being wounded or if they have any diseases.
The 5th team, which is the Livestock Rules and Regulations Enforcement team, takes care of the regulatory affairs. If a microchipped pet is found astray or unleashed while scanning it, they contact the owners and find them. The pets are then handed over to the owners. In 4 days, the enforcement team imposed a penalty of around 1,000 yutam each on 9 pet owners.
The reason for lifting the dogs from the core Thimphu town area is primarily to supplement efforts that has been going on for last 16 months. The nationwide accelerated dog population management and rabies control program is geared towards reining in the issues of uncontrolled dog population growth in the country.
He added the program is aimed at reducing the risk of dogs to public health and to bring down the number of dog bites. He also shared some challenges of the slow process of this program.
Since we've already done this for the last 16 months, there isn't much of a challenge. But the only concern or complication we do have often is when we go out to catch the dogs, our team tries and aims to catch as many dogs as possible. The process is slightly slowed when there are people who claim that their pets have been caught in the group. And this can range from people who have dogs who are microchipped, but there are also pets that are not microchipped but claim to be pets.
Some of the people BVS talked to shared that the move will benefit both the dogs as well as the community.
When the government takes such an initiative and takes care of the dogs, we should support them. We are thankful to them for taking care of our safety because dogs pose risks to old people and children. Old people and children can't go out in the early mornings and late evenings because of dogs. When dogs come in groups, it's problematic for us. During the daytime, even if a group of people walk together, it seems like the dogs can identify the elderly ones. They chase and attack us. Some dogs have even killed children. This initiative could be expensive for the government, but the benefits will be huge for the public.
The clinic team has so far sterilized 2 dogs and treated 5 dogs for sickness out of over 330 dogs sheltered at Nakula. The shelter is located about 3 kilometers from Semtoka. Livestock officials advise pet owners to leash their pets to avoid getting fined. The exercise will continue for another 3 days. For Karmawandi, this is Kipchu for BVS News.
Taekwondo enthusiasts in the country can expect better infrastructure to learn and practice the sport. The Taekwondo Federation will be building the Bhutan Taekwondo Federation iconic building, which can even host international competitions. His Royal Highness Prince Jigel Ugenwachu, the president of the Bhutan Olympic Committee, graced the Salong Tende for the new building recently.
The project will cost around $6.8 million or more than 550 million yutam. Korea International Cooperation Agency or KOICA is funding the construction of the new building for the Bhutan Taekwondo Federation. According to the Bhutan Taekwondo Federation, the new building will bring with it new opportunities for the country.
We can now
have 4 fighting area at the same time with 1,200 seating capacity, which means that we are going to qualify to host the international championships in our country. And when we, I think, organize a lot of benefits, we don't have to send our players outside for exposure, but we can always invite other people and our players from different districts to watch and also participate.
According to Khoika and Bhutan Taekwondo Federation, the new building will be more than a place for Taekwondo matches and practices. With the construction of the building, divisions will be set up for the youth to learn about value education and health education. The federation has close to 24,000 members from across the country.
Taekwondo is very important sport. So physically, mentally, we can support youth people. So Khoika decided to support this project. Through this project, not only we supported building, but also we support some youth development program. So through this program, we will upgrade and improve Bhutanese young people.
The Bhutan Taekwondo Federation iconic building will be built where the Taekwondo Hall is presently located, at the swimming pool complex. The construction will commence from September. Karmasamtan Wongda for PBS News.
That is all we have for this week. Thank you for joining us.